Hi guys, welcome back to LPB Racing for the historic Open Wheel Championship on Project Cars 2. This is the feature race now, race 2 around Rouen Essarts in the Lotus 25, and here's the grid for you. Obviously we have to do a random grid in this one, unfortunately, well, fortunately and unfortunately for some and not others, because unfortunately I didn't ready up, which was a stupid mistake, and because if I don't ready up we don't get these replays, guys. So we had to do it again, but because of a time restriction we couldn't do another qualifying session because some of us have got work the next day. So we have done a random grid. We all decided in unison and we did a random grid. So it is Bidzster on pole, from Bradders in second, Essarts third, Blakeney in fourth, Stacker gets fifth, Andrea in sixth, TY seventh, Stevie in 8th, Neil in 9th, and Rural at the back in 10th. So this should be a good race, guys. Let's get ready for the start. Revs rise. Bidzster on pole from Bradders, and Bradders gets a fantastic launch, and the two teammates are side by side down towards the first corner, and it's Bidzster in second. Bradders gets the lead then. Bradders leads the race in LPB Racing down the hill then, with Blakeney and Essarts behind, everyone very close. Bidzster looking for a way through. I think TY's off in the background. TY's off the circuit, and so is Andrea and Neil in the background. As we go down the hill, Bradders still in the lead then from his teammate Bidzster. As we go down to the next bit, we've lost quite a few people at the back. As we go down to the breaking point, oh, Bradders goes straight on into the wall. Bradders goes straight on into the wall. Rural's coming through there as well, as Stevie puts barriers everywhere. Bradders unfortunately just recovers there. Stacker and TY, it's all mayhem. We'll get some replays of action after the first lap, but Essarts now behind Bidzster, who is now in the lead of the race. Remember, this is a pit stop race, guys, 18 laps. You can't pit on the first two, so pit window in between lap 3 and 16, because obviously you can't pit on the last 2 laps either if you've been watching the championship. But if you didn't know, yep, we can't pit on the first 2 and can't pit on the last 2 laps as Neil Farmack cuts some more grass. Andrea looks for a way through around the outside. Neil covers it off, no way through there. As we go on to the straight, Andrea right behind Neil, practically pushing him around the corner and gets caught behind him, and he glitches his car out to a point as Bradders comes up on these boys, and Bradders comes across and hits Andrea. So not good there from Bradders, bit naughty again, but now he comes alongside Neil and hits the wall. So really not got much control of that car, Bradders. Looks like it's a bit dangerous, but you have to see how we go as Bidzster then slides his way into the second to last corner with Essarts behind him. Opposite lock on Bidzster's car, pushing hard. Essarts behind. There's Rural in 5th place, Neil in 6th, and Andrea up the inside of him into the right-hander. But Andrea goes wide, Neil goes back up the inside again, so Andrea outbreaks himself. Neil Farmack goes back up on the inside. TY mows a bit of the grass there, and Stacker in 10th. So let's watch these guys go into the last corner. Neil and Andrea close together. We'll just get a replay of those first lap incidents now. Replay something we missed on the first lap, so watch the blue car. Bang! TY hits Andrea and leaves him somersaulting, and Andrea finds first gear straight away. The hairpin on the first lap, so going down here. Watch here, Stacker and Rural miss the braking points, and then Stacker hits Stevie. Rural just gets round. Bradders there trying to recover, and then Bradders resets and then hits Stacker as well, and then everyone else goes through, and it all got very hectic there. So as you come back from that then, we've got Blakeney into the wall in the background, just looking at Bidzster and Essarts in the lead, but Blakeney makes a big mistake into the wall, and he's got Stevie behind him, just like race 1 this. But role reversal is, Bradders is off the track. Bradders has gone off, mowing the lawn. He's coming back on in front of TY. He's not got any control in that car. As there he goes back onto the track finally, but Rural now is getting caught by Neil and Andrea, who are having a good battle here into the bottom of the hill. And at the end of this lap, the pit lane will open as we go into the hairpin. Brake while turning, hard to do. Rural into the corner. Andrea, Neil goes up the inside of Rural, but Rural gets a better run out the corner, but he's not really got a better run, he's on the grass, but Neil's still on the right hand side of him. Rural gives him space, but then comes across in front. Andrea looks up the inside of Neil and hits him off. Neil's off. Andrea hits Neil, and Neil goes off backwards as Bradders tries to avoid, well, he doesn't really try to avoid him, to be honest, just goes straight into him, and Neil Farmack is now on his roof and resets. So again, Controversial incident there as Andrea's on his roof, I think. I saw one car on its roof there, but Andrea's off. Was that Blakeney or someone? As Andrea rejoined and hit someone else. Sorry about the cameras, guys, but oh, what a messy few corners. Stacker gets hit as well. I think it was Blakeney on his roof, but I don't know. But again, more replays are needed. What happened to Neil then? So you see he's moving to the left a little bit. Andrea tries to fill the gap even though he saw Neil moving to the left. Then hits him, and then we spin round. Nothing we can do about that. And then Bradders tries to avoid, and then just too late, sees it too late, hits Neil over onto his roof. So not Bradders' fault, but Andrea a bit of a daft overtake there. After Andrea's hit Neil, this happens up here as well. So he's behind Roral. Roral breaks for the corner. Andrea just decides to hit him straight off into the hay bales. And yes, Andrea waits for him, but that's not the principle. He's hit 2 cars in the space of a lap. So Andrea will be under review for the next championship. As then you see Stacker comes off and then just off the track and hits Andrea a little bit there. That's what the second bit of contact was about. And then they all eventually get going. So as we come back from that then, there's Neil recovering in 9th. So after all that then, we've got Roral in 6th, Andrea 7th, Bradders in 8th, Neil back in 9th place now after all that, and Stacker, oh, still spinning in 10th place round here somewhere. There he is, just spun out that corner. So then, Bidzster on lap 2, coming towards the end of lap 2, coming towards the start-finish line, first position. Second place for Cyrex, only 3 seconds behind him. Stevie 7 seconds behind the leaders in 3rd place. 4th for Blakeney, he's 14 seconds behind the leader. And TY, who's 17 seconds behind the leader, in 5th. Then we've got all this chaos back here. We've got Roral, Andrea, and then Bradders, Neil and Stacker. So it's all been happening in this race so far. So let's have a look at the leader then. Bidzster in the lead as Cyrex goes onto the grass and starts mowing the lawn. But not the best way of taking the track, really, Cyrex. But hey ho. But yep, Cyrex a lot closer to Bidzster in this race than he was in the last one, which is good for him. As we go into the hairpin, Bidzster slides the car in, makes a mistake, hits the bale, and is that going to hinder Cyrex? No, but Cyrex gets around it. What about Stevie? Is he going to get around the bale? Yes, he is, but obviously the bale's in the middle of the track. That's not good news for someone who comes along. There's Blakeney. Is he going to avoid it? Just about. Roral. So TY was next. TY misses it as well, but Roral and Andrea on the inside of Roral into the braking zone. Risky stuff. Brake for the corner, boys. Got to turn here as no, they all avoid the bale as well, but Andrea really putting the pressure on Roral here. So Andrea needs to calm down his attacks a bit because he's getting a bit risky with people as we go into the thing. And just so people know as well who are watching this video, I am not afraid to reassess people if I think the driving goes downhill. So, and that will put you out of a championship. So just be careful, boys, as Andrea goes at the inside of Roral. That was a better move that time as he got the car stopped. Nope, was on the grass, but hey-ho, still in front. Bradders then tries to get past Roral as well, but can't quite do it. If you go up the hill, over the top. Roral goes through there nicely, so does Bradders. Nice to see a bit more cleaner driving now as Bidzster then goes out of the second to last corner. I should point out the second to last corner, if you look there, it's a change of surface. It's actually cobbles, so that makes things even more interesting because there's obviously less grip on those cobbles compared to most other surfaces of tarmac and asphalt. So yep, going over that, nice and sliding the car out, but everyone dealing with the change of surface rather well here. As we look at Bradders then Roral approaching the back of Andrea, trying to keep up, and obviously Bradders approaching the back of Roral here. Into the second to last corner. Bradders goes a bit wide there, but luckily gets away with it. Stacker's in 9th, Neil's in 10th. Don't give up, Neil, anything's possible, you never know. Get a good strategy with the pit stop, might be able to fight back. As Cyrex, speaking of pit stop, Cyrex is in for his pit stop. Cyrex into the pits for his pit stop. Now people have got to call on the mic when they're coming out the pit lane, if they can, because it's a bit risky. Cyrex then still in the pits. Andrea comes down the road, Roral does as well. Cyrex is on his way. Let's make sure there's no traffic coming his way. Stacker's all the way back there, that's fine. I'll just show you this pit exit, but guys, so you see there, we go right out onto the racing line. So you can imagine a slow car there and a fast car there. That's going to make some things really interesting. So Cyrex goes back down to 8th place, but his pit stop is done. So he'll have to push now and see where he can get, as Blakeney and TY quite close. Blakeney up behind, TY up behind Blakeney. Blakeney falling back into the hands of TY. So TY on the move here, trying to gain some places. We go up the hill, up the rise, up the hill, up towards this banked left-hander that Stevie's approaching now, into the corner. You see the car banks into the corner. Use the grip, use the power on the way out, and a little bit of cambering for this one. And then this next corner, you've got to be careful because it's a bit off camber, so the track tilts away from you. Adverse camber, just got to make sure you don't run too wide like Blakeney does there. But TY does the same, but he manages to keep a better run. And TY's going to go to the inside and straight past Blakeney before we even get to the next corner. So TY gets a good run and passes him, but then Blakeney will have a little bit of a draft now. So we'll have to see if Blakeney can close up before the next corner. Meanwhile, Bidzster's already at the next corner, sliding his way in. Nicely done. As we look at Blakeney now in the draft of TY, will he fight back? He's closing up. You can see the delta time at the top of the screen, closing in. As we go into the second to last corner, where the cobblestones are, Blakeney go up the inside, TY on the outside. TY retains the place, so TY keeps third place. As we've got Cyrex back here. I think he's made a mistake somewhere, Cyrex, because he was with Bradders and Rural, but he's gone back a little bit compared to what he did when he came out the pits. 45 seconds now back down to 48 from the leader. As we look at Stacker and Neil then. Neil on the move, trying to pass Stacker here as we go into the long corner and out of it, down towards the second to last corner on the power in the draft. Neil Farmack closing up to Stacker. This is for position. Down to the second to last corner, got to brake, get on those cobblestones, turn the car in. Neil Farmack looking for the inside, but not going to do it yet as Stacker goes into the corner ahead of him and retains the place for now. So Stacker holding his own against Neil here. Good job. As we look at the battle for second then, Stevie, TY and Blakeney all into the hairpin rather well there. A couple of bales left on the inside still, so they've all not been wiped out completely yet. As we look at Bradders then in 7th place, motoring round with Cyrex approaching the back, but not a bad corner there from Bradders, a bit sketchy but still okay. As Neil Farmack then closes up to the back of Stacker. He's running quite well in this one, Stacker. He's not miles behind the leaders, which is good. Neil approaches the back of him very fast and then has to brake and avoid, so obviously he's got a lot more confidence through that corner than Stacker has, but obviously Stacker can't help going a bit slower himself because he's just not used to the track. So Neil Farmack has to brake and avoid there, but good avoidance by Neil not to hit Stacker in the back, so well done. There's TY then right behind Stevie now. He's ditched Blakeney and he's after Stevie now. He's after the Carrot for second place round this long corner. The blue bathtub for chasing the Carrot down to the second to last corner. In the draft, you can see the delta time at the top of the screen working its way down on the left hand side with Stevie at the top. You can see 203, 185, here we go. Stevie defends the inside though. He might be closing up, but Stevie's not going to let him through without a fight as TY looks for the cutback, gets the power on, but Stevie again wise to that. Keeps the power down and keeps ahead. So I don't think that anyone else has done a pit stop yet. Let's just check. Bidzster's gone round again. Yes, he has. Bidzster's gone round again. Stevie is approaching the pit lane now. Will anyone pit early, or will we all see people pit mid-race? I would imagine a lot of people will pit mid-race, but we'll see. Across the straight, they don't pit yet. Neither does Blake. Let's just watch TY in. Stevie through the first corner as TY, whoa, turns into a 140 mile an hour lawnmower. And just about holds on to the position. If you're wondering why TY's wheels are moving a lot more than Stevie's are, it's because TY's on a controller. Very brave on Project Cars 2 to go on a controller, because it's not the most controller friendly game, but on a wheel it is lovely. And we are looking for more people for this championship, guys. We have got a couple of spots available for our next championship. So, in fact, we've got quite a few because there's only 10 people on this one, so we've got a few spots available. We can have up to 16 people. So if you are interested, please find us on Facebook, LPB Racing, at facebookgroups.co.uk, and we will try and get back to you as soon as we can. Obviously we've had quite a few applicants in the last few weeks, so just trying to process people's assessments and that, so if we are a bit slow getting back to you, we will try and do our best. As Cyrex then goes to pass Rural, who just lets him through with ease because he knows he's done his pit stop. He's not really fighting him on for position anyway, so when the pit stops are done, we know that. As Rural goes on the grass, just about gets the car stopped and doesn't hit Cyrex, which is good. Essarts gets an armful of opposite lot there. Neil Farmack now ahead of Stacker, so Neil up into 9th place ahead of Stacker. Stevie still ahead of TY, holding TY off with good defence. TY still trying to stay with Stevie. He's gone to 6/10 back now. So a bit more of a gap between them both. And is Bidzster going to pit this time? He's just coming up to the last corner now. Bidzster, these ones are coming up to the second to last. Stevie ahead of TY. Not much of a gap in it, half second if that. Down towards the second to last corner, cobblestones. Got to watch out for the grip change as TY closes right in on the brakes. Really confident on the brakes as TY. As Stevie gets a little squirm out of the corner there. A little bit of wheel spin, a little bit of opposite lock. Probably had to lift a little bit. That's going to lose him time, as you can see there. TY right behind him now. And there's no such thing as turbulent air behind these things because there's no aerodynamics to them at all. It's all mechanical grip, all tyre to road grip as TY's on the right hand side. He's going for the position. Is he? No, he's pitting. TY's pitting. So TY pits early, thinks, right, let's stuff this battle, let's get some clean air and go into the pits. So Blakeney comes through. TY's in the pits there. You can see him going down. Andrea coming down the pit road also, well, down the pit straight. There's TY, then you'll see on the other side of the shot into his box. SHAREfactory coming through there. This is where TY and SHAREfactory will be quite close out the pits here. So TY's in the pits. SHAREfactory is coming down through the last corner now. TY's on his way. SHAREfactory is coming down the straight. Let's see what happens here. TY's at the pit lane now. Go, go, go. SHAREfactory is going through. And he's going to be catching up TY because he's got to get up to speed, but now TY's out in front. He's got it, definitely. There goes SHAREfactory through at full speed. So TY out at the pits in front of SHAREfactory. So SHAREfactory did actually probably did make a few mistakes on that little stint there and comes out behind TY. Meanwhile, Bidzster at the front, 19 seconds ahead, controlling this race. Doing exactly what a champion would do, because obviously Bidzster won the championship in the last race that we had here, because we've just had the sprint race. This is the feature race with the pit stops. So Bidzster is champion now, and he's won it 3 races before the end, which is good for him. So well done to Bidzster, and but everyone else still fighting out for other positions in the championship. So by no means does this mean that the overall championship is over, because yes, Bidzster might have won it, but we've still got second and downwards to fight for. So everyone else fighting for their own positions. As you look at Bradders then in 6th place with Roral behind. Neil Farmack on the move now. He's caught up a few more places. Andrea must have been in the pits for his pit stop, so he's pitted in 9th. So Andrea goes back to 9th place. Has Stacker done his pit stop? He must have done, because he's gone. Yep, he's in. He's into the pits. Goes Stacker. Bidzster's coming across the line though, so Stacker looks like he's going to get lapped by Bidzster here. There we go. Bidzster laps Stacker, and Stevie then, but further behind as Stacker comes out the pits. So Stacker's done his pit stop. Let's see who else is anyone else going to go in the pits this time? Sorry guys, just getting the camera sorted out. There we go. Stevie's keeping to the right, slowing down. So Stevie is pitting this time. He's slowing down well before, just to make sure he doesn't go over the pit lane speed limit. Is Blakeney going to do the same? Blakeney goes through, so Blakeney's going to go through and try and pass him on strategy. So Stevie into the pits then, and then just going towards his box, stops in his box, and how fast forwarded his car, but he's stopped in his box. He's all good. There we go. Watch his pit stop. So Andrea goes through then in 3rd place. Andrea goes through. Stevie's still in the pits. Where's TY? TY's coming through now. Stevie is. What's happened to Stevie? I think he's disconnected. Oh no, Stevie's gone. Stevie's disconnected from the race. Stevie, is he? Yep, he's gone. Stevie's disconnected from the race, which is such a shame, but he's gone from the race. So SHAREfactory then goes through in 5th place behind TY. Bradders will take 6th off Stevie because he's disconnected. And Neil will move up as well, so everyone will move up one position. Roral's been in the pits for his pit stop, I think, as well, because he's a bit further back. Either that or he's had a spin fest. But Bidzster then comes round. Long right-hander, just touching the curb a bit there. Risky, but still okay for him. So lost a bit of a track of who's done pit stops now, but I definitely know that Blake's got to pit still. Not sure if Andrea's pitted already. I think he has. Andrea must have pitted already. There's TY then back in 4th. SHAREfactory in 5th. Bradders 6th. And Neil in 7th place, catching up to Bradders here. Oh, we've got a hay bale in the middle of the road there, which Neil just goes through, because obviously some people can see it, some people can't. Roll goes through there as well. Let's see if anyone else is pitting this like this time. Bidzster on lap 8 out of 18. Will he pit this time, or will he go round? Let's have a look. As we go over the line then, with a 29-second advantage over 2nd place. Healthy lead, and Bidzster still goes round. So not pitting yet for Bidzster. Still keeping up the good pace. Let's watch him through the first corner then, as we go more or less flat, sliding the car out through the first corner. Blakeney then in second, 30 seconds behind now. We'll have to see if he pits this time, as Bradders and Neil are very close together, 3 or 4 tenths in it. Neil Farmack behind Bradders here, onto the straight. Looks like Bradders got a bit of a better run as Neil goes a bit ragged onto the grass, and that'll lose him even more time there, so not good for him as Stacker then goes through. So Stevie then now obviously down to last place because he's disconnected. So Stacker now in 9th place. Blakeney goes through, doesn't pit again, so Blakeney going for a later pit stop in this race. Andrea, obviously he must have pitted already, Andrea, or he's just made up a load of ground from where he left off, but Andrea in 3rd, TY in 2nd place. Go through the first corner, drifting his way through there, brilliant stuff as Cyrex goes through. A bit more sideways for Cyrex as Bradders and Neil close together towards the last corner. Neil gets a very good run through there, he's catching him up. Hand over fist, is Bradders going to go for the pit lane though? I think he is. Is he? Yes, Bradders slows down for the pit lane. So pit stop time for Bradders, slows down to the speed limit and goes into his pit box. Rural then will go through for 7th place. Stacker is in 9th, but let's see where Bradders comes out as Stacker just bounces off the wall playing pinball. As Bradders then in the pits, up on the jacks. Tyres being changed. Ready for the off. Someday today. Stacker goes through there. Bradders on his way. Stacker's not even at the last corner yet. He's about to get lapped by Blakeney as well. So Stacker not even at the second to last corner. So Stacker a lot further back. Bradders then rejoins in 8th place. I think Rural still just lost track of the pit stops a bit, guys. But again, that'll all be reconfirmed at the end, because obviously we'll know if people have pitted or not at the end. Because if they don't pit, they get disqualified from the results. So, or if they pit outside the pit window, that is. So Blakeney goes through past Stacker to lap him. Stacker keeps to one side. Blakeney goes through in 2nd place. TY then is being caught by Neil. Neil Farmack on the move here. So Neil Farmack catching up to TY. Again, can't recall if Neil Farmack had a pit stop, but again, I've got short-term memory loss if that is the case. But up the track we go. Nicely done as Bradders goes through in 8th place. Nicely done for Bradders there, getting a bit more used to this car. Bit of a twitch there, but ooh, just about held onto it. Very close indeed as Neil Farmack then attacking TY. Only a second behind now, just trying to close up the gap. As Bidzster must have done his pit stop, because he's now 4 seconds ahead of Blakeney. So Bidzster must have done his pit stop there, and he's come out ahead of Blakeney. So yeah, 4 seconds to Blakeney now. There goes Blake, and there's Bidzster in the distance. So Blake in 2nd place still, not done his pit stop, but Bidzster in 1st, who's just done his pit stop into the hairpin, and out of it, sliding the car out the hairpin. Blakeney then comes out the hairpin there, nicely done for Blake. Further back end, Cyrex being caught by TY, and Neil trying to catch TY, but Neil slowing down very early, going for the pits, making sure he doesn't want to speed in the pit lane, doesn't want to cause any other effects to his race. So Neil Farmack in the pits. Roll will go through for 6th position. There's Neil then in the pits. There he goes, trying to find his pit box. Stops on the box. There we go. Bradders is going to be the next car coming through, so it's going to be between Neil and Bradders here. Neil in the pits still getting his tyres changed. Bradders comes through the last corner now, flat on the throttle. Going to be close between Bradders and Neil. Neil's still not moving yet. Bradders comes over the line. This is going to be very close if it is. Neil's coming down the pit lane now. Out the pits we go. We're looking at Bradders. He's going to rejoin on the racing line. Bradders going to have to go down the outside. That's the danger of this pit exit, but Bradders hits the brakes and Neil stays in front. But well judged there by Bradders. Obviously he knew that Neil were coming out. Neil will be on the mic telling him, and comes out the pits as Neil decides to make sure his new tyres are nice and grass-worthy. Either that or he's gone for the off-road option in the pits, but he comes out in 7th place. T-White still closing on Cyrex here, trying to attack him, so I think more or less all the pit stops have been done now, apart from Blakeney, who's still yet to pit, I think. So Bidzster still pulling away from Blake now, obviously on fresh tyres. So Bidzster then on the move in 1st place. Blakeney 2nd for now, he's got a pit, he's keeping to the right. Is that a sign he's going to pit? Might be. Is he pitting? Yep, on the brakes. Pitting a lot later on the brakes than most other people as well, so must have practiced that. Blake into the pits then. Andrea will take second place. His teammate comes through to take second place. Obviously Andrea and Blakeney teammates in this one. Blakeney in the pits. SHAREx coming out the last corner now. Blakeney could have done enough here actually with all these laps he's done. So keeping up a good consistent pace. As SHAREx and TY come through towards the last corner then. Blakeney's still on the jacks. He goes through. Stacker goes through to unlap himself. Blakeney coming down the pit lane now as SHAREx is now coming down towards the pit lane. Blakeney should be well out in front. There he is. Blakeney comes out in third place. So Blakeney then rejoins in front of SHAREx and TY. So good job by Blakeney here. Good showing. As TY then comes through behind SHAREx. Chasing after SHAREx and then Blakeney also down the hill. Roral in 6th. Neil 7th. Brad is 8th. And Stacker in 9th. So all a bit more spread now. But the main battle on track at the minute is Neil. Get the names right. TY catching SHAREx is the main battle on track at the moment. So down towards the hairpin then with SHAREx onto the brakes. Oh, slides the car into the really hard corner that, because you've got to brake, slow down. It's on a descent as well, so the back of the car goes super light, and that's not what you want in these cars because there's not that much grip on them anyway. So you've got to be really careful with that as Blakeney then comes out in third, but he's been caught by SHAREx and TY here. So the last thing Blakeney needs is a mistake from himself. He just needs to keep his head, keep focused, and try and keep plodding on forward. As Brad is then in 8th place, trying to stick with Neil Farmack as he goes onto the grass. Just, again, trying to reorganise the grass for people. But Brad is in 8th place. Meanwhile, his teammate Bidzster in the lead of the race out front. Lead of the race for Bidzster, 14 seconds ahead of Andrea. Dominant fashion in this one from Bidzster. Andrea drifting his way through, trying to catch him up as fast as he can. Let's see what that time Bidzster does here. This will be his first proper lap out the pits, I think. Let's have a look. 2:10.9 from Bidzster. 2:10.9. What a lap from Bidzster. Let's see what Andrea does this time round as we go across the line. Watch the lap times on the top left of your screen where I'm moving the little thing up and down to change cameras. As Andrea goes across the line, 2:12.5. So Bidzster definitely still on the pace then from Andrea. Still pulling away as Blakeney then in third place. He's catching Stacker to lap, and SHAREx and TY are being pulled along with him as well. So all in a bit more strung out, but it's the best battle on track at the minute as Blakeney drifts through the last corner. So does SHAREx, so does TY. Down the straight we go. And how much of a hindrance is Stacker going to be? Is he going to be nice and let them all go through, or is he going to let them through a little bit one by one? Because he's got to run his own race as well. As I think we saw a bit of a change there. Is something gone on? Have we got Neil and Roral but together? Yeah, we've got Neil and Roral together on track. So Neil's catching Roral up here into the second to last corner. On the inside on the brakes, Neil Farmack goes up the inside of Roral. Textbook move up the inside, fantastic. True class from Neil Farmack and Roral. Well done for giving him plenty of space as we go down to the hairpin now with Blakeney. Catching right behind Stacker now. Time for Stacker to let him go with the blue flag. Does Blakeney has to stop on the apex? Stacker brakes and lets him go through. He's stopping, I think he's letting them all through. Yes, he is. TY just scrapes around the outside as well. So fair play there from Stacker. Very nice job indeed. Just lets all three of them go so they can keep battling themselves. And Stacker's quite far down the field anyway, so doesn't want to get in the way. So well done to Stacker and thank you for that. As Blakeney goes up through the top end of the circuit and drifts the car out. SHAREx a bit more smoother, so is TY. So this could be a nice little battle in developing as Blake gets on the power, stamps on it, has to overcorrect the car, and up over the hill. I think he had to lift there as well because SHAREx is closing right up behind him now. SHAREx closes up. Rouen Essarts, a really old track from the 40s, 50s, 60s and into the early 70s. Lovely track. I had to scrap it for safety reasons, as you can probably tell, because there was only this catch fencing in the 70s. There didn't used to be any of that, so if you go off you hit a tree at 140 mile an hour, which is, I can tell you, is not pleasant, and you won't be repeating the feat because you wouldn't live. So very dangerous track, very fast, but proper racing back in the day, but they have to scrap it for safety reasons. As SHAREx then goes through on Blakeney, who goes wide, makes a mistake, and SHAREx goes straight through. So SHAREx goes through as we've got, I think Stacker's off again in the background as Blakeney then goes through, chasing SHAREx now. He'll not want to let him go. He'll want to prove his credentials in LPB racing, and he is doing. He's trying to pull alongside in the draft, but can't get close enough. Now he tries to pull alongside. Now he is alongside. Side by side, only just enough room for 2 cars to go side by side. Blakeney backs off because they know SHAREx is ahead. And they're coming up to some more cars to lap here. I think that's Rouen. Is it Rouen? It's Andrea! It's Andrea! Andrea's made a mistake! I missed that! Andrea's made a big mistake as Blakeney, his teammate, goes off in shock at his teammate. But Blakeney goes off, TY goes through. Andrea then back down to the battle for 3rd place then, and 2nd place now as it is. So Andrea makes a big mistake there. After this hairpin, we'll get a quick replay on what happened to Andrea, but he brakes and just avoids the back of SHAREx, goes really wide. TY taking advantage if he can. Andrea gets on the power. No way, Jose. I've lost 1, I'm not losing 2. But Andrea goes back down to 3rd. We will get a replay on that for you now. Okay, here's a replay of what happened to Andrea on lap 12, and in fact it was a pit stop, not a mistake. I'd lost track of the pit stop, so I do apologise. Andrea comes in for his pit stop. I'll just fast forward this so you can see. Makes his pit stop, that was a very quick tyre change, and off the pits. There we go, out the pits, and then rejoins just as the others are getting to him. So that's why he was going slower. So yes, it was actually a pit stop for Andrea, not a mistake. So as we come back from that then, Andrea back down to 3rd place after the mistake earlier, and then now this. So Andrea back down the order then. So Andrea back into 3rd, SHAREx 2nd, TY 4th. Andrea mows the lawn a bit more. 45 seconds ahead is Bidzster. He's really pulling away from the pack here as Rouen rearranges the tyres at the 2nd to last corner. But Bidzster through towards the line, 45 seconds ahead of this mad bunch for 2nd place. 4 cars in it now. Blakeney's still in it, but he's just a bit further back. So SHAREx, Andrea, TY, and then you'll see Blakeney in the background, maybe coming through short in the background. Down towards the next corner. Will Andrea go for another move here? Look to the inside, gets the run. Inside goes Andrea. TY's here as well. He's going to make it 3 wide. No, he can't. 3 as 1. Down to the 2nd to last corner. Break, cobblestones. This is going to be fun. Andrea on the inside, SHAREx on the outside, they made contact, they both go wide. TY goes through past SHAREx, but wheel-to-wheel contact now, that's just rubbing his racing, that was no one's fault, that's just rubbing his racing, and SHAREx goes back down to 4th place there, so SHAREx the big loser in that. Andrea again up to 2nd place, but you've got to be wondering, can Andrea actually pass someone without making contact? Because every time he seems to pass someone, there's a bit of a contact involved, so we'll have to watch out for that, but TY right behind him now. Let's see what TY can do by putting him under pressure as we go through turn 1, down the hill. Downhill into this complex section. Front end of the car goes very heavy because you've got all the weight at the front now as you try and brake, steer and do everything. Into this section as well. Fast through here. TY closes right up behind Andrea. Will there be a pass into the hairpin? It's going to be hard. Brake, turn, everything at once. Brush your teeth. Light a fire, everything at once. Into the hairpin. Get everyone nice and cleanly out of the hairpin there. Blakeney's still on this group, but a bit further back. He's just come out the hairpin, 3 seconds behind SHAREx now, so a bit further back for Blake. So remember guys, lap 16, the pit lane window will close. I think more or less all the pit stops have been taken care of now though, but just to make you aware in case you see any last minute changes of position. But Andrea there goes through 2nd, TY 3rd, SHAREx 4th, on the grass a bit more there. Up over the tops, Neil Farmack. Oh, we've got to change position back here I think. There's that Roral someone in the pits, or there might be just a timing screen going funny there as Bradders goes through in 7th, Roll 8th, and Stacker in 9th position there. Neil in 6th. Through in the hairpin, slides out. Blakeney in a nice 5th place, and then these lot all battling for 2nd place. Andrea in 2nd, TY 3rd, SHAREx in 4th. Down to the 2nd to last corner. Andrea thinking about the defence now, just moving up to the middle of the track a little bit more, just to let TY know I can see you. Into the corner, Andrea runs a little bit wide. TY gets a good run at the corner though, gets the foot down, but can he do anything about it? No, he can't. Stays behind him in the draft. We'll try and take this corner properly. Andrea defends, doesn't really have to defend around that corner, but that's going to lose him speed on the way out as TY uses all the track and a bit more. Gets back in the draft, but that's lost him a bit of time that. TY then, he gets back in the draft though, he's not phased. Andrea defends the inside. Don't know why he's defending because TY can't really get past there anyway as we go into the first corner, sliding the cars through. Brilliant stuff this. These old cars providing some of the best entertainment we've had yet. Into the downhill section, turn 2, then into turn 3. Long, fast, can just about do it flat if you're brave enough. Down to the hairpin. Got a turn 4, the little kink, and then turn 5, the hairpin. Brake while turning into the corner. Andrea keeping TY behind for now. Doing a very good job of the defence as SHAREx makes a little mistake there, I think. SHAREx, just made a little mistake on the way into the corner, and that's lost him a bit of time. Blakeney will close up a tiny bit as well. Main battle on track. It's TY versus Andrea. Andrea in second, TY in third. These two battling. Andrea, the Italian, has only been with us for a season or two so far, and he's doing very, very good. He's putting himself up there with some of the best. Just needs to clean his act up a bit with his overtaking, and he's very, very well. It's good to see the different personalities coming out in people. Obviously, it's, some people are more aggressive attackers than others, but there's an aggressive attacker, and then there's Andrea. There's a big difference. But Andrea just needs to cool his head a bit when he's in the battles and that, and not be. I know he's hungry for positions, as race drivers usually are, but he's a bit over hungry. He's like he's starving for him. So he just needs to learn a bit of patience, try and work out his moves a bit better, and then that should help him be even better in LPB racing than he currently is. Even though at the minute he still is very good anyway, because he's ahead of TY for second place, keeping him honest. If we go in the draft, then will TY go for a move up the inside here? He's going to have to pull a rabbit out of the hat to get past Andrea here. Can't quite do it, but Andrea goes wide under pressure. TY pressures him, and Andrea goes wide, knocks the half tyres out the way, and TY goes through. So TY using his experience, pressuring Andrea into a mistake, and TY takes second place. Andrea now doing the chasing. SHAREx in fourth, still ahead of Blakeney. Nice little gap there. Lap times, if you look at the lap time board, guys, TY and Andrea lapping the same times as Bidzster now, so they've finally got the pace there. Bidzster still on 2:10.8. TY to 11.7, and look, Bidzster's about to lap his teammate here, Bradders, so Bidzster lapped everyone up to 7th place so far. So I would imagine Bradders will let him through on the straight here. We go up towards the next corner. There's Bidzster behind him, just waiting patiently as Bradders slows down mid-corner, and then he goes right up in the air. Bradders just slowed down mid-corner, nothing Bidzster could do because he was that close up behind him, but it looks like Bradders have to lift off or even brake round the corner to get through, and contact between the two teammates, but Bidzster goes through. Bradders lands miraculously back on his wheels, but that was very close. As we continue then, TY and Andrea. Andrea looking for a way through past TY. Andrea right behind him now. TY then under pressure. Obviously pit lane window will close at the end of this lap, just for those that are wanting to keep track of what's happening in the race. At the end of this lap, pit lane window will close for 17 and 18. There's only a couple of laps left in this race. Only a handful left as TY goes up the hill. That's where Brad has just had his nice gymnastics experiment. As we go up over the top, they're catching Rouen to lap in 8th place. TY and Andrea go through. Andrea in the draft, trying to close in a little bit, closing in a little bit at a time, a couple of thousandths every few metres. Into the next corner, Rouen, yeah, he's moving well out to the right hand side here. He might even slow down and let him through before the corner. We'll have to see, unless he gets there first. I think he's going to get there first anyway. You might have to let him through on the start-finish straight at this rate. And go into the corner. As Andrea goes onto the grass, pushing too hard and goes across the other side. That's lost him a lot of time to TY. That's probably cemented TY in that position unless TY makes a mistake, which is unlikely, but Andrea back down to 3rd. TY now passes Rouen, who lets him pass. Nicely done there by Rouen. Just letting him through one at a time, doesn't want to compromise his own race. As we go down to the first corner then, TY goes through. Rouen, obviously in 8th, been lapped. And then we've got Andrea behind, coming up to lap Rouen as well. SHAREx and Blakeney, they're getting a bit closer. Blakeney getting closed in by SHAREx here, so SHAREx back down to 5th then. So a bit of a mistake for SHAREx. Blakeney goes, obviously he's been through, but SHAREx trying to catch him up. Penultimate lap of the race then, 2 laps left in this race. Bidzster with a 40-second lead, showing us all how it's done in these open wheel cars, and a true champion at that. So Bidzster in the lead by 40 seconds from TY. who's then got a good 2.5 second gap now to Andrea, as you can see him there behind. He's just got past Roral, so there's Roral, the white car. There's Blakeney then under attack from Essarts, who's now 1 second behind him and closing. 8/10 now. Essarts closing with every wheel turn on Blakeney here, wanting more points. Every point helps, but yep, every point helps in this championship. Because even though Bidzster's won the championship, the battle for second is still on, because it's between Essarts and Andrea for second place at the minute. So Essarts needs all the points he can get, as Blakeney makes a little mistake there. Bidzster's on his starting his last lap in a minute. There we go, starting his last lap of the race for Bidzster, as Blakeney and Andrea then up over the hill. Oh, sorry, Blakeney and Essarts. But Blakeney makes a mistake. Essarts closes right up behind. Blakeney will keep the inside to try and defend if he can, because he's Andrea's teammate. He'll try and help him out as much as he can. But Blakeney's got his own championship battle to worry about as well. As Essarts then goes around the outside of him, tries to go all the way around the outside. They're side by side down towards the second to last corner now. Side by side still. Blakeney on the inside with the advantage into the corner. Brakes, Essarts brakes very late, goes into the corner and right around the outside of Blakeney goes Essarts. What a move by Essarts there, very brave to go around the outside in these cars, especially on a corner with less grip than the others. Essarts pulling out all the stops here, he's hungry, he wants some more places as Blakeney then cuts the grass a bit more. Brothers then in 7th place, he goes down there, but Bidzster, he's about to lap Neil Farmack. That's how fast Bidzster's going in this one, that's how far ahead he is. He's about to lap Neil Farmack as he goes through before the corner, is then onto the grass. Oh, just hits the wall, but Neil obviously letting him through in a very strange place there. But Bidzster goes through. And down the back straight for the last time. TY then in 2nd place. He's 3.5 seconds ahead of this man, Andrea. He comes out the hairpin also. Essarts still ahead of Blake by 1.5 seconds after that fantastic move we just saw a few corners back. He's now going to pass Roral, who keeps well to the inside and should let Essarts go through. Not yet, so this could be a game changer because he needs to let him through for blue flags. Come on, Roral, let him through. You got a guy behind on. Essarts hits him up the back end. Essarts hits him up the back end. I don't blame him, to be honest, because Roral wasn't really moving out the way. It was a bit of a strange place to move, but Roral gets hit by Essarts. So that'll be investigated at the end of the race. But yeah, looks like Roral wasn't really in the mood to let him through, but or if he did, it was a bit late and Essarts couldn't read it properly. So looks like he needs to make his efforts more recognisable in future as Bidzster wins the race. Well done to Bidzster, 40 seconds ahead of 2nd place. And in the background, that's Neil Farmack closing over the line. TY is going to be in 2nd. He's still coming up to the last corner. Still anything could happen though, so let's not write it off yet. But Neil is definitely 6th. Bradders will be 7th. Bidzster's teammates, he's been lapped already. Roral's definitely going to be in 8th. Stacker in 9th as well. So let's watch the other finishers come over the line as TY then, he's going to come across the line in 2nd place. Round the last corner we go. Down the straight, building up the speed, and TY takes a well-deserved 2nd place, which will boost his points tally by no means. So well done, TY, 2nd place. Andrea is going to come through for a good 3rd place. He'll be happy with that. Andrea gets 3rd. Essarts will come through for 4th place after that fantastic move around the outside of Blakeney, and obviously that controversial incident with Roral on the last lap. So Essarts finishes in 4th. Blakeney will finish in 5th. And Neil, obviously, he's already crossed the line in 6th place. So we'll just get those results confirmed for you now, guys. Okay, guys, here's the results from that end. So Bidzster takes victory in that one. Well done to Bidzster, 40-odd seconds ahead of TY in 2nd place. Then it is Andrea in 3rd, Essarts in 4th, and then it's Blakeney in 5th. And then Neil Farmack and everyone else down from here was lapped. So Neil was lapped in 6th, Bradders was lapped in 7th, then it's 8th for Roral, and Stacker in 9th position. And now, guys, on to the points. It is Bidzster who wins the championship then on 299 points from Essarts in 2nd place. Then it is Andrea 3rd, on 170. Then it's 166 points for Neil and Spapper in 5th on 116. Teams-wise, it is 366 points for Sykes and Neil. Then it is Bidzster and Bradders on 309. Andrea, Blake, 232. And then Spapper and Growley on 127. Okay, guys, so as you come back from that, there is your winner. Bidzster. We'll just fast forward so you can see the car a bit. There we go. Where's your winner, Bidzster? Well done to him. He wins both those races. He is now champion, obviously. Well done to Bidzster. And we will see you guys next time for the final round of this historic open wheel championship at Silverstone Classic. And expect the typical British weather. Take care, guys.